Okay, we're going to try this again. I've tried this now. This is my fourth time. All right, what we're going to do today. I showed you how to do the OnShape thing the other day. And what I was looking at basically is this. Some of you guys have actual computers at home, not Chromebooks or anything. If you've got a real computer, you can just Google Inventor download for students, and there's a bunch of stuff here. You can find it, and you can go through it. It's pretty easy. A lot of people in the past have done it. If you have a computer at home, you can do that. If not, use the OnShape thing. Now, we're going to make our miniature train. So you should have this document in Google Classroom. But what I'm going to do, you see this train is 9 parts. I'm going to try to make them here using OnShape. If you're using Inventor, you can Google, look on YouTube, you can find lots of tutorial videos. The only things, I haven't made these before on OnShape, so it's going to be me learning just as you learn. So I'm probably going to make lots of mistakes here. And I'm really nervous about the wheels. That's going to be the hardest part for me. So let's get started. First things first, we'll make the train body. So let's pull up OnShape. What I did, you can click on my OnShape here, and you can go right above to create. I created a folder, and I just called mine practice. And I put all the parts in there. So I made the train body the other day, just kind of playing around. And I made the axle peg just playing around, but I want to make them again here. So if I hit create a document, we're going to call this train body 1. Make the document here. And it's going to go in that folder. That's why I made the folder, because you can make one, just call it model train. So starting out here, I've got, you can see here, I can toggle back and forth between my dimensions and the thing I'm working on. So we're going to start out, we're going to do a sketch. We're going to do it on the front. Now, if you remember what I said, you do have to click over here to turn it to the front view. So let's look at our size. We have, I'm going to make this shape right here, this kind of rectangle with a circle on top of it. I'm going to make that first. So we see this whole thing is 2 inches wide, and the rectangular part is that 0.875 tall. So let's start with that. So let's make a rectangle. All right, now we can dimension. Remember up here I said you could type dimension. I said that was 2 inches wide and 0.875 tall. All right, now let's use our, look here, this circle has a radius of 0.75. That would give it a diameter of 1.5. And the center point of it is 1.375 off of the bottom of this. So let's make a circle here. And then let's dimension from here to there. We said that was 1.375. And then let's dimension this. Because again, it shows up in diameter, not in radius. We'll do 1.5 there. And then we'll just dimension to here just to make sure that that's centered. We want that circle to be right in the middle. And since this thing is 2 overall, we're just going to make that 1, and that'll center that circle up. So right now, there's our first sketch. We can trim this part right here, which is what I'm going to do. We're going to trim that off and trim that off there. And now we'll be able to extrude that part out. Now, so that's the front of the train there. You can see that's this shape. But to make it easier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this part back here as well. So I'm going to make the, I guess you call it the cab where the driver sits. And I'm going to make that as sketch 2. So if you look here, this very front part was sketch 1. I'm going to make sketch 2 back in the back. So let's look at the dimensions of that. We scroll down here, we can see the bottom of it. Well, we see from this hole to the top, because that's a rounded top, it is a radius of 2.35. That's going to give us a diameter of a little bit more than that, or double that. But you see here this 0.375 from that circle or that hole to the bottom. So what we're going to do, we'll take 2.35. Let's use our calculator here. We can do 2.35 plus 0.375 gives us that. So 5.45 is going to be our diameter we're going to use here. And just remember that it'll make sense when I go to make this. All right, so make a new sketch right there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a circle. And as I said, 5.45. That's our diameter. Now, we're going to do lines straight up from here to there. Right click, escape. That's how you end it. There to there. Right click, escape. Now, we trim away the rest. So I use the scissors, I trimmed away the rest of that. Now, we've got this part and this part as our two different sketches there. So, what we can do, we can look at this. Actually, let me go back. I forgot to do something. One thing that you will need to do. So see how sketch 1 is gray and sketch 2 is still transparent? What I forgot to do is I need a line there. And see how that turned it gray? What that means is now I can extrude that. Before I wasn't going to be able to. So let's look how far these need to be extruded. So here, the whole thing is 5.5 inches. This, just where the cab is 1.75 inches. So we will extrude this oops, depth. Actually, let's extrude that part first. 5.5 inches. There we go. Now let's extrude the top, and that is 1.75. Very good. Now, you can see our train's really coming along here. We have the smokestack still, we've got the holes for the cattle catcher, the holes for the wheels, and then just this cutout here. So let's do this cutout here first, and we see that little cutout. There's no real dimensions there for it. So we look here, that cutout, the center point of it is 1.75 up, and it has a radius of 0.5, so actually it'd be a diameter of 1, and you notice it's actually 0.25 in from the thing, so it's not right on the edge. So what we're going to do here, we will turn to the right side, and we're going to put a point. So now we could do a circle. We can do a circle. Circle will work fine. So let's do here, pick a circle, and we'll dimension that to 1 inch. Now we need to dimension the center point here. So we said that was 0.25 off of that. And it was 1.75 off the bottom. Okay, now what we can do, we can finish that and we can extrude that. Let's look like this. We want to remove, and we want to go 2 inches because that was the width. And there, it cut it out for us. Okay, so we have the back part cut out. Now, let's go back to our main view here. Let's look at what we need. So we need the wheel holes, okay? At the front holes and the smokestack hole. Let's start with the wheels. They'll be the ones that are going to be the easiest to do. So we look, these holes are 1/4 inch and they are threaded with a pitch of 20. That's the stuff that we were practicing right before break. And they go 0.875 deep. And the ×4 just tells us that all 4 holes, because there's 2 on the other side as well, are going to be the same. Now, when we do this, so 1/4 inch, 0.875, the way we have to make holes on here is we have to make a point. There is a hole feature, but we're going to make a point first. We make a point here. And a point there. And then we're going to dimension them. And let's look at this. They are 1/2 inch up, and this one is 1 inch from the back. So let's see here. I'll go 0.5. And we said it was, oops, that'll work. 1 inch there. So this one's still going to be a 1/2 inch, and it is 4.5 inches from the back. All right. So we got our 2 points there. So now what we can do is there's this hole feature, and you can click that, and you could select the 2 holes you want. And if we want it to be blind, we could go, we want a depth of 0.875 inches. And it doesn't need to be counterbore, countersink. And then you do ANSI. It's tapped. And it's already going to be 1/4 inch. Threads per inch, 20. Okay, so that's going to be the threading there. So you just click like that. And it should... It did not make that tapped. Okay, well, so let's go back to it. ANSI tapped. You know, I'm not too worried about the threads because they're not going to matter really anyway, but you can see how to do it, so I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time with it there. So we have our holes on this side. They should be all good. And actually, you know, I would really probably prefer if we could do a flat bottom here, but I don't know how to do it. All the holes are showing, you know, with the point at the bottom, so I'm not sure how on this to make it that way. But let's go ahead. Let's look at the other side. Let's do our points here. So same thing, point. And dimension them. So that was 1. That was 1/2 inch. And that is 4.5. And then we can do the same thing with the holes here. Select both, and actually you could probably select all 4 at one time, but you notice here it kept my dimensions from the other one. So it realized that we're making the same type of hole, so it kept those dimensions. So we got those. Now we just need the holes in the front and the smokestack hole. Let's do the holes in the front first. Those look like they'll be the easiest. And we see those, they are, if I can scroll down a little bit, 0.125, and they go to a depth of 0.125, and there's 3 of them. So we look here, and we can make this one first. It is, they datumed it from the left, so let's make this one first, over here. The one on the left. They are 0.125 inches up off the bottom, and they are 0.375 inches from each side. So let's make those bottom 2 holes there. Wrong way. Why am I making the back? I want the front. Sorry. So we make a point here. And there. Sorry, my internet is slow. Dimension these. And so there's 0.375. 375 there. Now, let's go, and we got to make this one. And this one is 0.625 off the bottom. And it is smack dab in the middle, 1 inch from the side. So one more, put it here, dimension it. .625. Now, there's my 3 holes. Now, we said each one was, these are not tapped. So each one is 0.125 in diameter and 0.125, not one, 0.125 deep. Okay, so last thing we're going to do here, we're going to make our smokestack. And this one may be the hardest one to make. I haven't tried making this yet. We'll see how this one works exactly. And we see it's a 1/2 inch hole that goes down 1/4 inch. And it is 0.875 from the front of it. Now, what we would do normally here is I would just make a work plane, extend it up, drill the hole down. Using OnShape, I'm not sure about doing that exactly. So I may mess this up a couple times. Just be aware. So what we're going to do, gotta find the thing here. We're going to sketch, and we're going to trying to make, that's not what I want. Trying to think of the best way to do this. So I look down. Okay, made that 0.5. From there to there is 875. Now, we should be able to finish that. We should be able to extrude that. And again, because I'm not 100% sure on this, Okay, so what I did there, I made it. Now it's just really deep. What I did is I made it on this plane here, and I just extruded it up through. So what you saw there was, I'll undo this so that you can see it again. So I made a sketch on this plane. Sketch 7 there is what mine's called. And I made that sketch on that plane. So it's on this plane right here. And then what I did was I just extruded that sketch. So I hit extrude, hit sketch 7. And then I just did 2.5 because that was going to take me all the way through. But you notice when I do that, it tries to make a little smokestack coming up out of there. So see, if I were to hit that, it would do that and make a little smokestack for me. I don't want that, so I can hit negative and remove. So watch, when I hit remove, sorry, we'll just do remove. When I do remove, it removed it. Never mind. There we go. I hit remove, it cut it out. That works too. So there's your train. The train body. So it took a little while. It's not perfect, obviously. We didn't get those things threaded. This thing is a little deeper than it's supposed to be. But it'll still work just fine for our purposes.